to issue his address.
Excellencies, colleagues and friends, Mrs. Nane Annan and members of the Annan family, we are deeply honored and graced by your presence. The United Nations and Kofi Annan were inseparable. It is impossible to say where one ended and the other began. And so, dear Annan family, we say to you today, not only welcome, but welcome home. To so many of us, Kofi Annan was more than just a dear friend. He was family. And I know you all feel in this room the profound sorrow that accompanies the sudden passing of such a beloved leader, mentor, and guide. Kofi Annan was uncommonly warm, accessible, and of the people. But above all, he was principled and forceful in battling for the values of the UN Charter. In recent weeks, so many of his former colleagues have fondly recalled a workplace encounter or an unexpected phone call asking after their well-being or that of their family. He had a knack for assembling solid teams and winning their allegiance by giving them room to do their best. He was charming and wise, kind and courageous. But he also knew how to deliver the barb in his masterly, subtle way. I wonder if that is the best approach he would use. Or perhaps he might say, I would want to be sure. And sometimes people were so captivated by his presence that they did not realize that they were being admonished. I have an enormous depth of gratitude towards Kofi Annan. And not only because I would very probably not be here if he had not chosen me to become, 13 years ago, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. That was probably his worst mistake. At the service in Accra last week, Kofi Annan was described as a good and faithful servant, as was indeed good at everything he did across a life of true service. And he would be the first to describe any achievements as the product of teamwork. But let me mention just two of the so many examples where his individual brilliance shone through. His personal advocacy to mobilize a global response to the HIV/AIDS epidemic led to actions that saved millions of lives. And his efforts to articulate the Millennium Development Goals rallied the world behind poverty eradication and paved the way for the 2030 Agenda, today's ambitious blueprint for a better world. In a world of impunity and buck-passing, his willingness to own up to setbacks was also refreshing and a remarkable example. And his moral voice led the world towards groundbreaking understandings about defending our common humanity. Throughout his tenure, Kofi Annan urged us never to be bystanders in life. He summoned us all to act against bias, brutality, and bloodshed. He was a multilateralist through and through, a true UN blue believer in a rules-based global order. And I must say, his loss cuts even deeper because we have never needed that faith and inspiration more. Kofi Annan called the United Nations the last best hope of humanity. He burned with the flame of human rights, dignity, and justice. We shall miss him every day. But we vow here, in the heart of his beloved home, that we will carry forward his torch now and forevermore. And in the exercise of my duties, he will always be my central inspiration and my deepest reference. Thank you very much.